So here's a tool we have a lot of familiarity with now. It's an architect scale, right? And we use it to measure with. Now, you might have used a ruler in an art class or a math class or working around the house as a drawing tool. What I mean is you picked up the ruler and you took your pencil and you drew a line along the edge. You have to understand that this is not a drawing tool. This is a measuring tool. So I strongly suggest never using it to draw with. A couple of reasons why. Number one, the edge is not perfectly flat. You run your finger along the edge, you might feel little bumps and imperfections. And if you drop this a few times, knock it around a bit, these are going to turn into bigger bumps and imperfections. Okay, so if you feel the edges of the triangle, though, you see that they are perfectly milled, perfectly flat and smooth. These are the edges you draw up against. Same thing with the T-square edge, right? Perfectly flat and smooth. So you don't want to use the scale as a drawing tool. But what we could do is we could go to our sheet of paper and we could measure in 1/2 of an inch using our standard imperial ruler. Coming on all 4 sides. And then with the parallel bar, or your T-square, draw a line on the top, draw a line at the bottom, and then to make the vertical lines for the border of this drawing sheet, we'll put our triangle on top of the T-square. Slide it over till it touches, and then create the vertical line there, and the vertical line here. Okay. So now we've got a drawing sheet with a perfect 1/2 inch border all the way around the edges. To do it, of course, we measured using the scale, and then we use the T-square and the triangles to create the line work. And when we're done, this is a perfect 90-degree corner. This is perfectly horizontal, just like the top line. The sides are perfectly vertical and perpendicular to the horizontals. You're going to notice in your tool bag a little box. And in that box, there's something called a dry cleaning pad. Why don't you pull that out? It's kind of like a little hacky sack, right? So this is actually a cloth bag full of drafting powder. And what you're going to do is just give it a little squeeze on top of your paper before you start drawing. Now, what this does is it keeps the tools from smudging the pencil lines on the paper. And how does it do that? Well, if you think about it, this little layer of rubber fragments, it's like ball bearings. And now the tools have a little cushion between the back edge of the tool and the paper. And then the triangle, same idea. Now the triangle is not leaning 100% onto the paper and onto the graphite for your pencil. It's got a little cushion that it's riding on. Think of it like air hockey, okay? How the puck floats a little bit off the table and moves around a little bit easier. The idea is if we have some drafting powder on the paper, it will be less likely to smear and make a mess while we're working. All right, so that's what the drafting powder sack is for.